It was in the mid of November that a seed was sown from China in China, and the outburst of its fruits cursed the whole of humanity. Yes, you are right. I am talking about the virus corona, which has the potential to destroy generations. Do you see the empty roads throughout the world? Do you feel the fear for your life? Do you see the countless dead bodies throughout the world? Do you see your motherland crying for her children? If yes, then the bell sounds for who is responsible. Yes, who is responsible for this pandemic? Xi Jinping, the leader of the world's most populated non democratic country, has to answer on why purposely this outbreak was overshadowed. Coronavirus was detected somewhere in the mid of November last year, and China, as ever in the most ill reputed leadership, tried to cover it as if it never existed, giving wrong numbers, hiding facts, lying right from their tip are in the genes of this country's leadership. And sadly, whole world is paying for it. The most blocking part of corona is that this could have been stopped, but this was deliberately not stopped from its origin. The lockdown never came in China until 23rd January, when it had lived this pandemic span for about 2.5 months. Up till then, there were millions and millions of people who were potentially carrying the virus from China to all the parts of the world. They were not stopped. According to an estimate, there were around 450 million, that is 455 crores trips scheduled in the Lunar New Year week in China, which witnesses the world's biggest migration. Yes, the world's biggest human migration ever to take place each year. Still scratching my brain as to why they were not stopped. This is for sure that the authorities sitting back in China were not honest with the world, misinforming the world about the numbers of affected cases in China, claiming to contain, not accepting that the virus transfers from human to human, are the major gaps deliberately created by China, which the world is finding difficult to fill. This dominant leadership of China suppressed the voices of people like Li Wenliang, who was one to identify the potential of the risk which corona carried. And this hero of the world was claimed by China to die due to COVID. And who knows what the reality is. Even a doctor named Ai Fin, director of the emergency department of Wuhan Central Hospital, who, being the very first person to tell about the virus and China's inactions to it, is still missing. She was insulted in front of the disciplinary action team and has got the so-called reward from China for her smoking of reality, that her whereabouts is still missing. So, is this dictatorship bound to suppress the voices of anyone who tells about the sins of the mighty dragon? The whole world knows what the answer is. This pandemic, which could have been reduced to about 95% if China was loyal to the world, is also contributed to the culture of China, which, except for humans, can eat anything. And no one would argue that it was the live animal market in Wuhan which originated this virus. The trouble is as such that there have been more than 1 lakh people infected globally by now, and there have been thousands of deaths throughout. The worst part is that the selfish mentality to earn money has led China to sell its soul by returning the favors of PPE kits to them by countries in lieu of money. This ruination is faced by almost all the countries across the globe, and the major victims are Spain, Italy, and USA. Yes, you heard that right. The world power USA is down to its knees in front of this deadly virus. And the blame of it also goes to the administration, which preferred economy much more than humans. The delay in the lockdown in countries like Italy, USA mirrors that the leaders never took this virus seriously. Even when the USA president was working on to ease restrictions which were newly imposed, it was later he realized that it is too late to react. And the trends of all the economy was eating the soil. And hold your chairs. Please hold your chairs when I say that the estimated deaths expected by the US administration due to COVID-19 in US is 100,000 to 200,000, with the leader tapping his back if the total figure is reduced to 100,000. This is horrifying. This also reminds me that there is a population of 1.3 billion people in the world's biggest democracy in India. If the lockdown would not have been imposed early, this would have been the curse, ending up in an explosion of dead bodies in crores. This looks terrifying to see that dead bodies are on the ground and no one is there to lift them up. There is a shortage of masks, kits, sanitizers, ventilators, hospital beds, ambulances, and voice trembles when I add funeral coaches and cemetery to it. This havoc has dried up even the tears, as you always shiver when you face this reality. Well, there is light after every darkness. There is a day after every night. There is a sun after every moon. There is a hope after every despair. There is some faith after every mistrust. Similarly, we all know we are overshadowing the gloominess, and the sun thereafter will light up the world. This time is bound to pass. Will overcome anything which trespass. A virus which has occupied the whole of landmass, born because of the grass, has been hooked to get some crevasse. Believe me, this time is bound to pass. With these self-made lines, I, YASH AWASTHI, salute to all the doctors, medical staffs and police who are set to sacrifice their lives for humanity. Let us all pray together and be patient enough, in full confidence that the clock will wind itself with a better place for us to live in. Thank you.